upgraded in any way. Odyssey was holding her right shoulder.
The Indiana Fever finally gave their fans the playoff win they've been craving for years. But in true WNBA fashion, what should have been a night of celebration quickly turned into controversy. Instead of headlines focusing on Lexi Hull's clutch steal or the heroics of Kelsey Mitchell and Alia Boston, attention shifted to a bizarre clash between Sophie Cunningham and a league security guard. Sophie, wearing a heavy leg brace and clearly nowhere near game ready, wasn't storming the floor or causing a scene. Yet a guard stepped in, barking at her as if she'd just sparked a fight. In this video, we'll break down exactly what happened and highlight Sophie's response that has everyone talking. But first, do you think Sophie is being unfairly targeted? Share your thoughts in the comments.
Oh, Sophie, you're like that? Yeah, Chloe, she's like that. She's like that. She ain't moving. Oh, and then she puts her hands on the hip. Let me talk to your manager. Oh, shit. All right, Sophie, say no more. Say no more. Now, when your teammate gets injured, you're allowed to hop on the court and just to see if your teammate's doing good. So, injured, healthy. So, Chloe, Sophie, they had every right to be on the court over here.
Here's the question everyone is asking. Was this nothing more than an overzealous security guard losing perspective? Or does it reflect a bigger, more concerning pattern in the WNBA targeting players who don't fit the league's narrative? Looking at past incidents, it's hard not to feel like Sophie Cunningham was deliberately singled out. Her response calm but firm made it clear she wasn't going to be intimidated by a glorified hall monitor, and the timing couldn't have been worse. The Fever, despite missing Caitlin Clark and nearly half their rotation Ari McDonald, Sydney Colson, Chloe Bibby, Damiris Dantas, and Sophie herself had just earned a dramatic playoff win. The fans were electric, the team was celebrating, and the moment should have been all about postseason joy. Instead, the spotlight shifted to a bizarre scene. Sophie, still in her brace, standing at midcourt when league security confronted her aggressively. No fight, no rule broken, no reason for intervention yet. She was treated.
Why in the F is that security guard all up on Sophie Cunningham? And look, I think there is a reason she got up in Sophie's face, and I don't think there was any need to sort of bow up to Sophie like that. I don't think, and to Sophie's credit, she did not back down at all.
Consider the optics. Sophie Cunningham, clearly injured and unable to run if she tried, being pressed by a security guard determined to turn nothing into something. The cameras captured it perfectly, her face shifting from confusion to irritation, to that signature Cunningham glare fans know all too well. It was the look of someone saying, asterisk, seriously, this is what you're doing right now. Asterisk, and honestly, she was justified. The moment hit social media almost immediately. Within minutes, clips of Sophie's Staredown were everywhere, and the reaction was pure outrage. Not because Sophie lost her cool, but because fans could see how needless the confrontation was. This wasn't enforcement, it was harassment. And it fed right back into the frustrating narrative that has trailed Sophie her entire career. She's constantly.
So Odyssey Sims goes down hard. And Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, Chloe Bibby are waiting for her at half court. And the cop tries to get Sophie Cunningham to move. Sophie Cunningham was like, you're not going to get me to move. I'm waiting for Odyssey. And you could see during the review, look at Sophie Cunningham clapping, not moving, waiting for her teammate. That's the Fever for you.
Why? Because Sophie Cunningham doesn't play by the WNBA's script. She's outspoken, she pushes back on narratives, and she carries herself with confidence, never apologizing for who she is. And for that, she's been treated differently not just by rival fans and media outlets, but now, it seems, by the league's own staff. This is the same Sophie whose name constantly trends, whose highlights rack up millions of views, and whose fan base is among the loudest in women's basketball. She drives engagement, she brings attention, she's good for business, yet instead of embracing her, the WNBA appears determined to cast her as a problem. Social media erupted after the confrontation. Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube filled with comments pointing out the obvious. Sophie is treated this way because she doesn't fit the league's preferred image. Others called out the double standards at play. If Angel Reese or Paige Buchers were in Sophie's position, the headlines would praise their fire and leadership. But Sophie, standing in a leg brace, was framed as the issue. Fans weren't having it, and they made their voices heard. Hashtags like #FreeSophie and #WNBA Exposed started trending within hours.
Folks, I didn't realize how much fun I would have watching these people break down. It's a meltdown. It's a meltdown on Twitter today. it's embarrassing to a certain extent. Not for me, for them. And then we got the Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever getting booed as they're getting off their court.
Here's the twist: Sophie never even escalated. She held her ground without losing control. No shouting, no outburst, just standing firm, glaring, and refusing to be intimidated. In fact, she showed more composure than the very security guard who triggered the situation. That's why the clip exploded online. The drama didn't come from Sophie, it came from the league. And when you connect the dots, the pattern becomes clear. We've seen this before. Remember when refs felt uneasy with Dane Carrington and security got involved? The league was quick to defend her. The Players Association spoke out. The narrative was framed as unfair treatment. So why the silence now? Why is it that when the same thing happens to Sophie, only fans are calling out the double standard, while league officials look the other?
Check this out right here. Yeah, you see this guy right here? Right in this Gentero area? Let me just, you see this guy? The ref asked this dude to step out here. All right? Now, Cheryl Swoops wants this referee fired. She wants him fired. Look, he felt something. He felt something was amiss. Of course, Cheryl Swoops is defending Dejanay Carrington.
This isn't just about one security guard crossing the line, it's about the WNBA's bigger issue with players who don't fit their mold. Caitlin Clark has lived it since day one of her rookie season. Hacked, shoved, taunted, and targeted while officials look the other way and the league stays silent. Sophie Cunningham has worn the villain label for years, regardless of how she actually plays or carries herself. Put those stories together, and a troubling pattern emerges the WNBA struggles to support stars who don't align with its preferred image. Instead of embracing them, the league pushes them to the margins. And that's the irony. Both Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham are exactly the types of players the WNBA should be spotlighting. They're marketable, they're fan favorites, and they generate conversation. Sophie sparks headlines even when sidelined. Clark is the biggest draw in women's basketball history. Yet instead of protecting them, the league allows referees and staff to mishandle them, and fans notice not just the incidents themselves, but the league's failure to step up, fueling frustration with the WNBA as a whole.
Hate Sophie Cunningham because she's white, she's beautiful, all these things, right? Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100, as they say. Sophie Cunningham is the most beautiful woman in this league. All right, she's the hottest woman in this league, and they're mad they can't be her.
The backlash was swift. Within hours, fans flooded comment sections blasting the WNBA for humiliating Sophie in what should have been a moment of pure celebration. Many pointed to the hypocrisy how the league once tried to investigate fans for booing Angel Reese, or how they've dismissed blatant hard fouls against Caitlin Clark as just part of the game. The same pattern is showing up again. Selective enforcement, selective outrage, selective protection, and every time it happens, the league's credibility takes another hit. This isn't just a matter of bad optics, it's bad business. The WNBA talks about wanting growth, respect, and mainstream relevance. But you can't reach those goals when your biggest highlights are overshadowed by viral clips of players being harassed by your own staff. Fans don't want to see their favorite stars silenced or sidelined. They want the game itself celebrated and respected.
I completely underestimated the feelings that I would have watching all of the Indiana Fever haters crash out. All of the Caitlin Clark haters, all of the Sophie Cunningham haters, anything to do with the Indiana Fever, the people that are just so quick to hop on Twitter and say something negative, to hop on media and say something negative, to take credit away. I underestimated how good it feels watching these people crumble.